So, our first name was Mix. Does anyone who remembers that we were called Mix? Raise your hand. Actually, a few people. Okay, good. So all of you other guys didn't know that. We were called Mix in the very beginning, and we started with a magazine that had Sailor Moon and some other titles. Anybody remember the 4 manga that were in the original Mix-zine?
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon, yeah.
Sushi Girl.
That was later.
Was it
in the
Parasite?
very beginning when we launched it. Parasite was one, yeah. 2 more. Harlem Beat came in just a little bit later, so you're right, but when we launched it. Imaginary Earth, yep. And 1 more. Anybody? Yeah, somebody's on their iPhone. That was this. Published that. Sorcerer Hunters was a little bit later. The Good Memory that did cut that we got there. All right, I'm going to tell you guys. All right, Ice Play. Which was G.I. Shin. So we did that, and we launched TokyoPop.com. We were importing laser discs, anime laser discs, and all kinds of laser discs. Yeah! That's old school. And we weren't called TokyoPop, but we had TokyoPop.com. We did stuff like we had a Japanese wrestling league that we brought to the States and put out on VHS. Anybody remember VHS? Yeah! She still watches VHS. So that's the FMW. These guys were crazy. They used to light. They had a barbed wire ring and lit it on fire and do pro wrestling and all that. And that was just nuts. We actually brought that league one year to E3. They had a booth at E3 where they wrestled the whole time. It was 4 minutes. That's it. Well, for some reason, the only graphic that I quickly was able to get was the Sailor Mercury fan book. Yeah! We had 5, but there's a book. Does anybody know? Does anybody have these? 5. There's literally one for each one of the scouts. Anybody have all 5 of these? You got all 5? I wonder if you can probably sell them on eBay now for that. You're not gonna do it? What if it's like $1,000?
Give that to your children.
We did. Does anybody remember that at some point we actually put out all of the Final Fantasy soundtracks? Yeah. We did that. Then we did a whole bunch of other soundtracks, but none of them really ever, they all lost money except for Final Fantasy. And then we went to Square and said, yeah, now CD's kind of dying. We need the internet rights. We need the streaming rights. We need the download rights. But no. So we got out of that. So that was all early days of TokyoPop. So I'm going to show you 2 videos. But you already know that. You only knew about 1. That's right. There's 2. And these are short little promo videos that I think we made. And I was going through my computer last night. God, where's some old stuff? And I found these from I think 1999 or something. So it's kind of funny. You see how, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Here we go. magazine and a website at the time, which was all about all different types of Asian pop culture, which after many years, Dan is doing for TOKYOPOP powered by Nerdist. So it all kind of comes full circle. And obviously we were doing manga at the same time, but this was to show that we had kind of a lifestyle brand, which didn't last that much longer than that we did, I think. Anybody know how many issues of TOKYOPOP magazine we have? Maybe like 15 or something, I think. Anybody have TOKYOPOP magazines? A few people? Anybody have all of them? Really? But you got that from the office.
No, that's why you hired me.
We hired you because you were the only one left who had every single issue of the magazine, and we didn't even have our archives. That's funny. Yeah. All right, so what's next? Manga explosion. So the thing that really took off for us after trying all kinds of things with Asian pop culture was, besides Sailor Moon, because Sailor Moon was the thing that really kept us going until 2002. What was happening is, in like 2001, I went over to Europe and I saw that in Germany they were publishing both Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball right to left, reading it like in Japan. And up until that point, everything was left to right. The stores would only take left to right. We had no option other than flipping them to American style. And I thought, well, if it can work in Germany, maybe we can do it here, because we were definitely getting a lot of pressure from the Japanese authors. They would prefer it to be the original, right to left. Parasite, for those of you who are reading that manga, you know, in Japanese, the main character, you know, when in his arm that had the alien come in it, the name of the alien was Migi, which means right, but because we had to flip it to the left, we had to call him Lefty. Sounds like a joke, but it really was, and it's just that kind of thing, and it was always annoying. And you know, the Japanese authors in particular, they're like, why is everybody in my manga left-handed when we put them out in the States? It was just something that bugged people. And then, although it was kind of okay for cars, because in Japan, the cars are all on the left side of the road, and you flip it, and guess what? It's like America. So there's some, you know, good and bad. But basically, I thought, well, Germany can do it. Why not do it in the States? Let's go the authentic way, right to left. And instead of, we were debating in the company, it was a big debate about whether we should just go all out and do it. That was what I wanted to do. And then there were some people, but I'm the crazy one. And then there were some people who wanted, let's test it. Right? Let's do focus groups. Let's see what people really want and all this sort of stuff. But my concern is if we did that, then the stores are obviously going to buy the ones that are left to right, and they're going to have a bias against it. We got to go, excuse the expression, balls to the wall, and either make it happen or not. So we decided to put together 9 titles and launch them all at once, which at the time, Viz, us, Dark Horse were only putting out, you know, a couple of manga a month, and so to suddenly put out 9 at once was a pretty big deal for the market. So. But we thought, let's just go for it. And so we came up with this right-to-left authentic manga. We had a little hangul, 100% authentic manga. And we standardized the size of every single book. And we launched, and it worked. The fans seemed to like it. And everybody was happy. And stores were making money. So it was a good thing. And it kind of started this manga boom. I remember there's one story, the standardization making the size, every manga being, Hetalia is actually a little bit bigger, but at the time, everything was the size that we made. And there was a company called Central Park Media. Does anybody remember Central Park Media? Yeah. Okay. The guy who ran that company was pissed at me one day, and he calls me, he's like, Stu, I can't believe it. I can't believe what you guys did. What do we do? What do we do? Well, you made this size, and it worked so much that all the store buyers came to us because our size was like 1/4 of an inch taller, and they came back and they said, we don't want these books, you got to make them the same size as TOKYOPOP. I didn't tell them to make it that way, but standardization was a good thing for the market. All of the stores were able to make these shelves, and then it became easy to understand, manga is not this really weird thing that nobody wants. the stores started to understand, hey, it's a category. Maybe if we make it easy to find things, people will actually buy it. And it worked. So that was all stuff that was kind of, I'd say, in our high growth era. And then some titles became hits. You can see up here our biggest hits, Cho Bits. Yeah. And Love Hina.
Yeah!
I don't know if there were
The 10 lines!
I don't know if there were more Love Hina fans or if just that guy's the loudest guy.
This guy.
Pursue Derek!
What?
32!
And then there's this little title on the right.
Gods in the Zodiac?
Yeah, who would have thought? And that title was definitely our largest any one-time print run that was well over 100,000 units, which was pretty amazing for manga at the time. So that happened, and then we had a little magazine that we used to give away called Manga Magazine, which we didn't do too many of them, so they were really expensive. But we would make a bunch, we'd bring them to the convention, we'd give them away. And I remember a year or two here at AX, everybody would leave them on the floor, right? Yeah. Those are the days. We contributed to the litter problem in Los Angeles.